Disastrously normal politics investigating unending disaster within our walls. Disastrously normal politics investigating unending disaster within our walls. We live in a world where the unthinkable has become the norm, where the collapse of institutions, the erosion of trust, and the normalization of chaos are not aberrations, but the new standard. We are not just talking about the external threats, the wars, the pandemics, and the economic crises. We are talking about the internal rot, the slow motion collapse of our democratic systems, and the catastrophic consequences of our own making. It's a strange kind of politics, where the most extreme ideologies are masquerading as centrism, and the most egregious abuses of power are justified as necessary evils, where the rule of law is selectively applied, and the notion of accountability is a distant memory, where the media is either complicit or captured, and the public is left to navigate a labyrinth of misinformation and disinformation. We are not just talking about the politicians, the bureaucrats, and the special interests. We are talking about the system itself, the architecture of power that perpetuates this disaster, the way it's designed to concentrate wealth, privilege, and influence, while disenfranchising the many and empowering the few, the way it's rigged to maintain the status quo, even as the world around us is changing at an unprecedented pace. This is not a partisan issue, nor is it a matter of left versus right. It's a question of whether we are willing to accept a world where the powerful do as they please, and the powerless are left to suffer the consequences. It's a question of whether we are willing to sacrifice our democracy, our institutions, and our very way of life on the altar of convenience, expediency, and short-term gain. The truth is, we are not just living in a time of disaster, we are living in a time of unending disaster. The catastrophes are not just external, they're internal, systemic, and self-inflicted. We are not just facing a crisis, we are facing a collapse. And the question is, what are we going to do about it? We can continue down this path, accepting the status quo and perpetuating the disaster, or we can take a step back, acknowledge the rot, and begin to dismantle the system that's causing it. We can start to rebuild, to reimagine, and to recreate a world that's more just, more equitable, and more sustainable. The choice is ours, but the clock is ticking, and the question is, will we act before it's too late?